If you're not involved in the SSA and you're in storage, I don't know how you're operating.
Why even be in the business if you don't have the advantages of what the SSA offers?
They're nuts if they don't join.
I just think, who doesn't want to help someone be successful?
What's up, Sarah?
Hey, Erin. What's happening?
Well, folks, you have made it to the July episode of What's Up, SSA. My name is Erin Lightfoot.
I am Sarah Kautzman, and we are still doing this.
Unbelievable. We've gotten a couple reviews. We even got a comment, right? That was exciting.
We got a comment, y'all.
Shout out to the woman who is listening to us on the way to the airport.
Yes.
We love you. We hear you. Email me. I'll send you an SSA gift if you send me an email. I got you.
I mean, we do potentially get into how to earn yourself one of these in this episode. For those of you listeners without video, we are holding up our beautiful iHeart storage hats that everybody wants to get their hands on.
Yep.
But actually, I have a different surprise for Erin today. I'm springing this on her right now.
I don't do surprises.
Without asking Erin, I added a member to our podcast team.
Oh, boy.
I didn't really have a choice. And so they are in studio with me right now.
I'm very nervous. Well, this is a little bit terrifying, folks. Oh my God, it's a dog. Look at this beautiful animal. And please introduce our first guest.
Okay, so this is Mayday. She is our new rescue pup that was in a Mayday situation. So she's our unexpected new addition to the family / the podcast team.
She's absolutely not interested. Uninterested.
Obviously.
Now,
I'm not speaking into the mic whatsoever. So let's see how that goes for this.
Well,
okay.
You're carrying it's Mayday.
It's Mayday, but the reason she's here today is because, folks, if I learned anything in journalism school, it's to lead with the puppies and the babies. If you want viewers, if you want listeners, this is what desperation looks like. If you want to see the cutest puppy you have maybe ever seen, then you should be tuning in to What's Up, SSA with Mayday.
Mayday.
Oh, Mayday.
Oh.
That's Erin. That's Auntie Erin.
You know, that's what I envisioned when I adopted a dog, and instead I adopted a terrorist who isn't even allowed upstairs yet. But perhaps that's because I'm that dog's parent. Maybe it's taking tips from me. Maybe I shouldn't be allowed upstairs. I don't know. Not the point. Now I'm rambling. Your dog is beautiful, and I have calm puppy envy. But Mayday, welcome to What's Up, SSA and the SSA family.
Yeah, and we might just, have to post some behind the scenes photos. I mean, she was in the green room this morning waiting to record with you. I got, all of her requests done. So
hats off to rescuing. We support rescues. Please rescue. And please spay and neuter your dogs. Now I'm Bob Barker. All right.
Oh my gosh, I just flashed back to my entire childhood summers. Every summer. That's probably why I rescue, is because of Bob Barker. I had no choice. I was watching Price is Right every day. I wasn't going to camps.
No, I wasn't going to camps. I was lying about being sick and trying to stay off school so I could watch Sally Jesse Raphael and Bob Barker all day long. Come on, it was the 80s. What do you think? All right, folks,
Anyways,
I digress.
Self-storage. Who'd we talk to this month, Erin?
We have quite the lineup for our listeners this month. We are going to kick things off with the woman we literally just wrapped with, Ginny Stengel, our Senior Vice President of Meetings and Education. She talks to us a lot about what's coming for the SSA's Fall Conference in Las Vegas this year, and a lot of changes, good changes, right? You were listening. You were there.
Yeah, really interesting changes, and an announcement we can make that she gets into that has to do with who will be your party captain this year. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, can I say his name then?
We can let Ginny say it. No, I'm just
Pow
kidding.
Pow. How about this? Pow Pow. If you don't know what that means, you better listen to Ginny's interview. Yeah. If you do know what it means, clearly we should be friends if we aren't already. Send me an email. We should hang out.
Yes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Well, Ginny provided lots of information, not only about the content, things we're doing differently, as well as the discount period that is still in effect. After Ginny, we had the opportunity to talk to two heavy hitters on our staff. First and foremost, we spoke with Mike Blackett, our Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communication. For those of you that don't know Mike, Mike's been here a very long time, but operates in the shadows. So I'm not surprised if you don't know Mikey B. But Mike talks to us a lot about the new AMS that the SSA is in the process of getting online for our members that will provide a new online experience. He talks about the e-test, some publications, and more importantly, data, Sarah, which I know you've been a big part of a lot of those data conversations recently.
Yes, yeah, and that's something we're going to actually focus on in general session with Tim. So look forward to a video during general session in September that really gets you a deep dive on how data relates to the rest of the work the SSA does on your behalf. And Mike is the expert, and then he also lets us know we have added another expert to our team. So
we certainly have. And Mike, having so much tenure here at the SSA, he's been a part of every single demand study the SSA has ever done. So to kind of hear his inside take on how it's evolved, trends that he's noticed over the years, I really enjoyed talking with Mike. So join us for that. And then finally, we speak to, I think I say this about every colleague, so it's starting to lose its weight. One of my favorite colleagues. Gosh, I just love all of you guys so much. I refer to him as our magazine editor, but I'd like to go on record now and be crystal clear that Tom Comai is the director of communication. I've only worked here 9 years, so I'm pretty excited that I got his title wrong when I interviewed him. But that's the point of this podcast, folks. It's informal.
Tom directs that communication so hard.
Dude, hard director of communication.
Oh, yeah.
And sort of based on where he is on the org chart, he actually reports to Mike Blackett, the senior vice president of marketing and communication. So, Mike, my apologies for getting that guy's title wrong. And Tom, we hear you loud and clear, our director of communications, sir. But a pleasure. Tom, another guy that likes to stay behind the scenes. And he had so much insight into the SSA magazine, its evolution from what once was the Globe, aging myself now, but really talking about the 50th anniversary issues, which was a really cool story.
All of those issues are actually available in the archives on the SSA magazine website that you can get to through selfstorage.org. And then anything else that we talk about will be in the show notes, including Erin, you and Tom mentioned this, and this is kind of a new endeavor that we're starting. We're putting out a call for community serving stories of self-storage facilities. Is that what you would say? Did I get that right?
I think you said that perfectly, my dear. I don't think it's a big surprise to anybody in our industry that sometimes the only attention it feels like we get is the negative attention. And our industry is so much more than those handful of stories. The reality is crime and bad things happen everywhere, not just in self-storage. We're certainly not immune to it. However, again, our industry is so much more. You're going to hear this beat into your ears a lot, guys, moving forward. But again, deployment, death, fire, renovating your house, expanding your house, your kid goes to college, the little league team needs somewhere to store their stuff. I don't know, but there are countless reasons why storage is a need in the community. And we want to hear more from our members who are filling that need so we can highlight you and help educate others in the country, as well as legislators, about what self-storage truly is. So please help us be a part of that.
Yeah, any ways that your facilities are involved in your local communities, any ways that you give back, anything like that, we want to start collecting those stories on behalf of the industry so that we can share them on behalf of the industry and make it easy for all of our members to share those as well. So that'll be coming down the pipeline. But that email will also be in the show notes. And yep. I think that was all I had.
I think that's it. Beyond our three exciting guests, did I mention the director of communications? Tom is
director of communications. Tom.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure we got that noted there. Next month, the August episode is lining up to be another great one. I won't give too much away, but it will pair with our mid-year legislative report, folks. So do not miss the August episode. Until then, Sarah, it's been a pleasure getting another one in the can with you, if you will. Can I say that? Yeah, in the can. And looking forward to the next one.
Don't worry, I'll bleep it out if you can't, right?
Perfect.
I know how to do that now.
Well, thank God, because you can't trust me to keep a secret, and I'll just start blurting things out on the podcast that I'm not allowed to. Again, Director of Communications, Tom Comai, was here.
All righty, let's get into it.
Welcome back. What's up, SSA? I am very excited to have our Senior Vice President of Meetings and Education, here with us once again. Ginny, the last time we saw you, we were together on the floor in San Antonio. Look how far we've come.
Yeah, that's right. Here we are again, Erin.
It feels like we were in San Antonio together 5 minutes ago, but now you are up to your neck along with your team getting ready for the SSA's Fall Conference and Trade Show taking place in September at the ARIA in Las Vegas. And that is exactly why I have you with us today.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. We got a lot of ground to cover when it comes to the upcoming conference in Vegas, and really because there's a lot of different moving pieces this year. We've changed some things, we've added some things, and I think it's really important that our members kind of get a first glimpse at what they can expect in Las Vegas in the fall. So starting with that, looking at our events, let's go to the very beginning. As most of you guys know who attend our meeting, our conference starts out with our Manager Summit and typically the Economic Summit. For those of you not aware or who haven't been turned away at either of those doors by me, that is a separate registration fee. Those portions are an add-on to our conference. But Ginny, I'm excited to talk about what has changed this year. The Manager Summit remains in place, allows for continuing education credits for some of our CSSM members, which we'll touch on later, but the Economic Summit has changed. We are now offering our members a Land Use Summit this year. Let's talk about the Land Use Summit.
Yeah, happy to. We're doing something a little different. It's a dedicated land use summit. Development has become increasingly complex these days, and so understanding the zoning, the entitlements, the community engagement, it's become critical for anybody that's looking to grow their business. So we decided to ask some of the experts in that area. We've got Stephen Bourne, who wrote SSA's Zigzag Through Zoning some time ago. We've got him as a large part of that summit. We also have the folks from Arco Murray, who are sort of our construction and development experts. And then we have a gentleman who is a building code guru.
All right.
If there is such a thing, but he would be it.
Gosh, you talk about some top shelf veterans in our industry, as well as building codes, how critical that is. I know Stephen Bourne has a ton of experience. I know that going all the way back to the old SureGuard days, and certainly Arco Murray, experts in the field, and a name that is no stranger to all of us. So that's exciting. There's some big names.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to see how it comes together.
Oh, well, this is great. I think that, variety is key. The Economic Summit is always popular, always well attended, and I expect that this one will be well attended and popular as well.
I think so.
Well, the Manager Summit as well, still going on this year. Not only is the Manager Summit a great opportunity for those already coming into town, why not register for the Manager Summit? It always offers quality information about things that those knee-deep in operations every day need to know about, but it also adds to the continuing education credits that our certified self-storage managers can take part in. Now, Ginny, I know this is a little bit off script, and we won't dive into too much, but for those interested in the CSSM program that we offer, is it safe to assume we have a very new and exciting program update in the pipeline?
We do. It's a well-needed update to all of the sessions that are included in the certification program. We're Erin and I are giving it our best shot at putting it together, and then we'll have some of our experts that we rely on for much of our content at our meetings. Certainly those that have spoken at our Manager Summit to review it, make sure that we're including the things that are important to managers these days, and we'll be introducing a brand new updated version of the certification program soon.
I think it's safe to say that we can all agree that the role of a self-storage manager has greatly evolved over the years, just whether it's from technology, the needs of our customers changing, or the way we build facilities changing. So I'm very excited about that change. Again, I know that was off script. That's just a little tidbit or a little cookie for anybody out there listening. Getting back to Las Vegas. Now, this is our July episode of What's Up SSA. Our members still have time to get a discount. Is that correct?
Yep, they sure do. The Super Saver discount runs till July 31st. So, I highly encourage you to, if you're thinking about registering, to go ahead and register before that. It'll save you at least $100 off the full conference fee. So
Think
it's
about
worth
that.
it.
Save that $100, get into the ARIA, put that right on the blackjack table, double your money. It's a win all around. No,
That's for sure. And then split your pot if you
That's
win
right.
big.
Well, again, getting back to some of the differences this year, for those of you that have attended SSA 101 in the past, SSA 101 is a session that we put together for new members of the association, as well as first-time attendees. It gives you some insight on how to maximize your benefits, as well as your time at the conference. Added this year, I'm really excited about this, is Exhibitor Vendor 101. Is that what we're calling it, Exhibitor 101?
We're calling it on-site essentials for exhibitors.
I just work here. What, I
Yes.
don't know the name. No. Okay, this is exciting though, because we want to apply that same thought, right, Ginny, to our exhibitor sponsor members who are on site.
Absolutely. They're super important to us and what we do at our conferences and all year, throughout, even when we're not at at one of our trade shows. Just the support that they give us, it's invaluable. And so we thought they've been asking for some education in order to help them do their jobs better. So I think, led by you and Carol Franklin, we're going to pull together a session that, gives them gives them the nuts and bolts of exhibiting, move in, move out procedures, those types of things, where to find Freeman, lead retrievals. But it'll also get into more, when a prospect walks up to your booth, what do you do?
Yeah.
How do you catch their attention? Grab them so that you can have a conversation. Those types of things. So
and with that, to support that effort and helping them be their best selves at the booth, we have the vendor lounge.
Right.
So if a vendor wants to eat that sandwich or has to take a client call, a personal call, you're not trapped in the booth anymore. Head out, eat your sandwich, do it away from the booth, take your phone call, whatever you're doing, and then be present when you're in your booth.
yeah, I think that'll be really helpful for that, because it's a big job standing in your booth and representing your company and trying to meet potential customers. It's that's the lifeblood of a lot of these businesses.
It sure is.
So I think it's a good addition.
I do too. We want them to be their best. So come by the vendor lounge for any of you vendors, exhibitors, and sponsors listening. Myself, Stephanie Satterfield, Carol, Ginny and her team, I'm sure we'll all be moving through and near that lounge over the course of the conference. If you have any questions about upcoming events, sponsoring, exhibiting, something you heard in the On-Site Essentials course, we will be there to help reinforce anything you learned or maybe answer any questions you may have from that experience. So I'm excited. I think, again, just having a few opportunities to help these folks be their best is a really good addition to our event.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, before we know it, we'll all be in Viva Las Vegas having a ball, which I'm excited about. Always a good time when we all get together. Is there anything else, Ginny, before you leave us today? Because I am certain you're going to be very busy up until now in Las Vegas. Anything else for the membership or the crew that you wanted to share with us today?
Yeah, I think I'm really excited about this fall's content. The program is just now coming together and starting to take a look at the whole piece together and what we're offering our members and attendees and anyone who's there, obviously. But in addition to the information being practical and things they can bring back to their facilities, this time we're delivering it in a really fun way. We've got a couple very interesting and very fun sessions lined up. One of them is going to be done completely by AI.
Oh.
It's the context of it is self-storage investing, and we've got one of our experts in the field of self-storage investing. He is working on this, and his presentation is going to be done by his clone. The information, of course, will be fed by him, but the entire thing will be done by AI.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, so watch out for that one. And the another one that we have is we've got a 4-act play that some of our folks are putting together, and they're going to walk through scenarios where they have a troubled tenant or somebody's trying to throw away tires or, those types of common everyday occurrences that seem to happen in self-storage. And what they'll do is go through it and then literally talk about how do you solve these problems? How would you handle that scenario? But,
Cool.
here our self-storage experts are going to be becoming actors in front of our eyes. So it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
Oh boy, I feel a best acting award coming on down the road.
Right?
With some of our members. That's pretty cool.
We might have a few coming in.
Oh.
So, as a nod also to our country's 250th anniversary, which is a huge part of this year, obviously, and our 25th anniversary of 9/11, that's happening that week. We've also hired Rob Riggle to be our keynote speaker. Rob's the comedian, actor, funny guy, all around funny, good guy. But what a lot of you don't know is he was a 23-year Marine Corps veteran.
Yep.
And he did search and rescue at Ground Zero during 9/11. And was the first Special Forces team deployed to Afghanistan after 9/11. So he's got a very interesting story. He's going to bring, got a great sense of humor, obviously. I mean, he's between Step Brothers and...
Yeah, I mean, once you talk about what a patriotic and heroic man he is, it's hard for me to follow up with, my God, he made me laugh in Step Brothers. But
Yes, exactly.
I am very excited about Rob Riggle for two reasons. One of my favorite actor, funny comedians, certainly in a lot of the movies I enjoy. But knowing the sacrifices he's made for our country, the commitment to our country, and just how much he believes in, who we are as Americans. So I'm really excited to have him as a part of our event. For security purposes, you should probably keep me far away from him.
Okay.
But
Noted. Noted.
We'll talk about that in a staff meeting as we get closer to the event. Make sure that I don't get anywhere near that man at all. Okay, well, good. Thank you for bringing up Rob Riggle, as well as the play and the AI presentation. I mean, goodness, with all the pieces we've spoke about, I might have been a little understated in saying we're doing things different this year. We are really doing things different this year.
Yep. The speakers that are coming, or they've really brought it. So
I love it. I love it.
happy to
Wow.
see that.
After last year's reception at Allegiant Stadium, we had to step up somewhere, didn't we? So,
That's right.
This year we're focused on stepping up that agenda. No, I'm kidding. There's no right way of saying that. All of our agendas are always really good. Cut that. I don't know if we're going to want to use that. Anyway, well, Ginny, it's been my honor, my pleasure being here with you today. I know you're busy. I know you're going to be busy. I'll blink and I'll see you in the halls at the ARIA in Las Vegas for the fall conference. Any of you listening, questions about the event, visit our website at selfstorage.org or email us at info@selfstorage.org. Until next time.
Thank you.
What is up, SSA? Welcome back, folks. Today, I am lucky to have one of our more tenured employees here with me, over 21 years on the job here with us at the Self Storage Association, our Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communications, Mr. Mike Blackett. Welcome.
Thank you, Erin. It is always a pleasure to be with you and to hang out and just talk some storage and SSA stuff.
That's right. Well, listen, I appreciate you letting me strong arm you. I don't know how many of our members know you that well, but I think we see a lot of you in Vegas because we have you moving almost every single box we ship to Vegas. So I'm excited to see you and talk to you and not have you moving boxes all over the ARIA on our behalf.
Yeah, and that's all right though. I'm out of commission for moving boxes since my surgery, so that's going to have to wait. We're going to have to get some other people to help, but I've always been kind of under the radar, and that's just kind of how I am,
No, it's true. It's true. You are an under the radar guy. But with that being said, so much of what you do and manage and really get over the hill for us here at the SSA, frankly, is so important. So while you may be humble, today, my friend, is your day to shine. The first place I want to start with you, let's start with publications. Let's just take a quick lap around publications. I don't know exactly how many we have. I don't know if I should know that, but I know we have all the lien law guides as well as the forms booklet, collection and lien sale manual, our rental agreement book, our demand study. Of all of the publications, Mike, outside of the lien law booklets, what's our most popular publication?
Probably the demand study, and That's an electronic file that we've been doing since I started here in 2005. So we have 7 of them, and another coming up here at the end of the year. So, yeah, I mean, the legal pubs are always very popular, but the demand study, is for literally everybody who's even interested in from being interested in the industry to those in the industry. So.
And
yeah.
you've been a part of all of our past demand studies. Is that correct?
I have. That was one of the first things Scanlon put on my desk was the 2005 demand study, and that was George Leon helping us too, at a company, I believe it was National Analysts at the time, and we've rolled through quite a bit since 2005. The industry has changed quite a bit.
I don't know if it would be possible to cover all the uses for the data and the benefits of that data in just one interview, but I do think it's safe to say that data helps us advocate, whether we are defending, amending, whatever we're doing. How critical is that data for not only our members, but for our team internally?
Super critical. Our folks here at the SSA look at that data, and they look at it from a regional perspective, and they see what customers are doing and what customers are storing, what they like in self-storage, how far their facility is, the sizes of units they're renting, averages of rental prices, how they pay, the marketing that got them to look. And now, of course, things are more online, so you've got that whole aspect. Back in the day, well, it wasn't even that long ago when people were using yellow pages still, right? So, or they saw your sign on 95 and they're like, oh, that's not far from my house, so let me check that one out, so but our folks legislatively can look at it and kind of pinpoint different places wherever they're having a pop-up issue, and kind of use that data to help them kind of pave the road to where they're going to go.
Exactly. And speaking of data and helping us continue to pave that road, our team, our family, if you will, has expanded. We've brought on Chelsea Glass to join us. How much of a role did Chelsea play in our most recent demand study?
Huge. So she was on the other side. It was, Chelsea and I were meeting weekly, sometimes a lot more often when it started getting closer to release. She's been involved in several of these studies, under the tutelage of George Leon. She's kind of intimate with the whole self-storage demand study program,
yep.
Right? So other than myself and George and a couple other people, no one else knows it better than her. Right?
That's right.
When that popped up, I mean, it was hard for us to not make that work.
No, I think it's a huge win for us. I know that Sarah and I are certainly looking forward to having her on the podcast. We're giving her a little bit of time to get her feet wet with her role here with the SSA before we bring her on and grill her like a panini. But I am looking forward to doing that, very much so. Well, as the keeper of the data, Mike, is there any change that you've witnessed over the years that was the most surprising? That'll be my only data question for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think as we look at generations, that the Gen Xers are storing more stuff, and like they're getting older, right? So all these generations are getting older, and I think they're putting a lot of time and effort in figuring out where they're going to store their valuables and family heirlooms and what have you. And I think that's kind of a neat thing to watch over the years, is watching the generations grow and as storage grows, and it's just kind of neat to watch that whole dynamic transpire over the years.
I agree. And, I think it's been interesting too, going back to what you said, how people find storage, whether it's on their phone as they're driving around. It's no longer the yellow pages, or I think I saw that billboard once. Let me drive past it one more time. It's a lot easier to find. And you can find exactly what you do need. You want something that has certain lock security, online web payments. The internet certainly has changed the game.
Yeah, I mean, you put your maps in and you're going home a different way or traveling somewhere. I mean, all you got to do is, make a stop, storage, and boom.
That's right.
All these facilities will pop up. I mean, it's really as easy as that. And you're sitting in your living room and saying, ugh, I got to get rid of all this stuff. My kid just went to college, and what am I going to do? So, I mean, just storage. Boom.
Storage, done.
You got 15 stores, that pop up, and there you go. You have lots of choices.
Well, talking a little bit we've talked about data, we've talked about some publications. There's another exciting item on your radar that I want to share with our members, and that's the launch of our new database. I know that you've been working really hard on that, along with Stephanie and Joan and Julie and Julia. A lot of folks have. It's going to be a brand new experience for our members when it comes to making purchases online, connecting with each other, renewing their dues. Where are we at, and are you excited?
Oh yeah, it's great, and I went through this drill 11 years ago, and it was harder. It was harder than it should have been, right? So technology, just like storage, in the storage industry, technology is changing for the better. And we've outgrown our current AMS, Association Management Software, and we found a really good platform that we like. And I think what they offer and the technology that they offer is going to really, really help our members understand and get into the weeds of their benefits
Yes.
a lot easier than we do now. And on that note, it's a huge implementation, right? But members need to understand that, like, everything we do here is for members,
Yep.
right? So it's the bottom line is, how is it going to help them to engage with us, engage with their benefits, engage with other operators and vendors. And, at the end of the day, it's just, it's absolutely going to work really well between them and us, and putting us together and a little closer. And I look forward to it. We're excited about it. It's a lot of work, but it's worth every minute and every penny.
Oh, that's exciting. Not being into the weeds of this project like so many of you are, I do know that a functionality of this new AMS will allow our members to have a cart, and they could purchase a publication, register for 2 different events, and check out in one transaction. And that is really exciting, I think.
Right. Yeah, it is. And it's just the way it should be, right? It's kind of the Amazon effect.
I know.
You gotta. It's kind of logical. How do you want to do it, right? I mean, when I go to Amazon or when I go to another platform, I do want that. I want that book with this membership. It all
Yes.
makes sense. And click it. You have my card on file, and boom, it's done.
Done.
And sometimes within literally less than a minute, right? So I don't want to guarantee it's going to be that, like, exactly like that, but it will be close to that. That's
And a huge improvement.
Yeah, that's what we want, right? We want not only for our members to make it easy on themselves, but for us too, right? I mean, that's how we all want it.
I agree. Can you imagine buying concert tickets at Ticketmaster and having to buy one seat at a time, log out, log back in?
Yeah. And then, timing out or something, and it won't take that credit card or something. We don't want that.
No, we want it to be easy for people to enjoy, maximize, and support the SSA and all of our benefits.
That's right.
So, outside of always seeing you, really helping us doing the legwork at our national event, one place I can always find you is sitting at the e-test booth with Doug Greist.
Yep.
Great guy. I believe, along with a handful of other benefits we offer our members, that the e-test is something that not all of our members know about, or maybe they've seen it and don't know what it is and how it can help. Give me your elevator pitch on this e-test program so our members know what it is they're missing out on.
Yeah. So that's another one too. We've been working with e-test for probably 15 years now. And the management psychology group and the SSA got together, and they put together a bunch of with our board, Mike Burnham, Nitzberg, Riley, these guys, these pioneers, right? And we put together focus groups on what are facilities and operators doing to find decent managers that they can hold on to, that are beneficial, right, for the bottom line and for the store for years. And we want to keep good managers. And one of the things that we did was we created eTest, which is an online platform that tests potential managers. And it works really well. The folks who actually use it absolutely love it, and a lot of folks don't really know about it. And for $75, well, you get a free test as a member anyway. But after that, $75 for an online test is pretty inexpensive when you think about the years that you're going to get from a decent manager, an excellent manager, I should probably say. And it's these tests are done on a site. It's your site. It's your facility site. And when I say site, I mean website. It's done online, and when that potential manager is done with the test, that test goes directly to the management psychology group, and it's read. It's looked at, and then the feedback is given to that hiring manager, and and on different scales. And that manager can look at that and decide, okay, I'm bringing this person in for the last interview or what have you, whatever their process is, and and make that decision. And one of the things that we're doing more now is following up. So like a year later, we're going back to that hiring manager and saying, so how's this working out? Tell us what we need. Is there anything we need to look at with the e-test? Is this person,
Sure.
What's going on? And a lot of time we'll hear, oh, they're awesome. We've promoted them. They've already been promoted, or they've already outdone, our sales levels, for them, and we hear that all the time, and I think. They just they may only have 3 stores, right? So they use it 3 times. They have 3 winners, and they may not need it again. But if they do, of course, they know where to go. So anyway, that's kind of the long answer, but it's something that I think is overlooked. Is just the quality that you can get by using the test that was created specifically for self-storage managers.
$75 is a lot cheaper than the cost of hiring the wrong person. We all know how expensive the cost of the wrong hire is.
We hear about that, right? We
Yeah.
hear about folks just not showing up on time, or possibly stealing, or not really. You hear the horror stories. I don't want to go into it, but you know what
You
they
do.
are.
Yeah, I did. I ran hiring and training for a group of stores when I worked with SureGuard, and I always like to say that the person you meet in the job interview is the representative. That is in no way, shape, or form the person that shows up for work. They have different values, different ethics. They don't even look the same. What happened to the person I interviewed?
Yeah, and now you've got data. Basically, that's data, right? When
It is.
When you look back at that test, it may be okay. So it may not be 100%, but let's say you lose, you have a bad hire, and there could be a number of reasons why that happened. You can look back at that data, at that test, and look and pull Doug and his team in, and say, where did we go wrong? You know, what do you think? And then we can retool the test. You know, we can go back and make modifications. And the other thing that's nice about Doug and his team is that you could call them anytime. If you have a question about a test or a test that somebody took, or, you know, proctored or unproctored, they'll pick up the phone and talk to you, no problem, just anytime. And you know, that's one thing too that I don't think people realize, is that they're just a phone call away or an email away, and you could talk about this test a little further. And they have other options too. There are other things you could do. Current employees you can test. How does this go? So this guy has been cutting locks or cleaning up or sweeping up you know, units that are not being used, and you know what, I want to move him into sales. Let's test him on sales. Let's see how well this person's going to do with sales. And you know, they're already employed and they've been there and they're a great employee, so let's move them up and see how they're going to do. So those are options that are also available.
That's a great idea, and I don't think enough of our members know you get one free with your membership. So why not use it once, whether you are promoting or hiring, and really find that value. And again, for only $75 for anything extra, that's a steal, in my opinion.
It is, and then, like, if it's, say you use the free one, and then you follow up in a year, you know, and see how that manager's doing. I mean, there you go. That's like, you're getting probably $500 worth of an industrial psychologist's input on an employee. That's pretty good.
I love it. In other news, I'm going to reach out to this Doug gentleman and see if our whole staff can take one at Christmas, just for fun, to see what that says about all of us.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding. I absolutely will not be taking that test.
And we can publicize the data too.
We'll put the data on our new website. It'll be amazing. Next to our bios.
No.
Oh, man. Well, you know, Mike, we've covered pubs. We've talked about the database that is coming, the most underrated benefit in the pool here, the e-test, as well as how important data is, and the addition of Chelsea Glass. Before I let you get back to all the important things that you do for us, was there anything else you wanted to make sure we knew about today?
Yeah, so our data website is up, and the data website is, you buy a subscription. There's a member price and a non-member price, and members save $800, so that's pretty good. And what's on that data website are all of our demand studies, and future demand studies will be on there. The traffic generation study is on there. A resource library is on there.
Wow.
Yeah, we just did a confidence survey. We went out, sent a survey out to members, and we got those results back. So the white paper, Chelsea's preparing a white paper for that. So there's a ton of data on there, and all this data is, the demand study data and the traffic generation study data are all sortable. So you can go back 5 years or 5 studies, and sort all that stuff and look at trends. It's kind of the same stuff we do when we use it in-house for legislation and membership. You can sort that and follow some trends. So it's a cool thing, and I think members will appreciate it.
Well, this is great. I love it. We will make sure that Sarah and I are certainly including more of this information about the data website and some of our upcoming promos about what's up SSA, because I want to make sure our members know that that valuable tool is available to them at a great discount. Mike, it's always a pleasure seeing you.
You
Hope
too,
your shoulder's doing all right, buddy, and look forward to seeing you in Vegas, and I won't let you move one single box.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care, Erin.
What's Up SSA is brought to you by the 2026 SSA Fall Conference and Trade Show. Our biggest show of the year is returning to ARIA Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, September 8th through the 11th for the self-storage industry's highest caliber gathering of education, networking, and vendors. Registration and the ARIA room block are open for SSA Fall Conference under the Events and Education tab at selfstorage.org.
Welcome back. Welcome back. What's up, SSA? Today, I am lucky to have another colleague in studio with us, my friend, my colleague, and the editor of the SSA magazine, Tom Comey. Tom, thank you for being here today.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I've been promoting this podcast in the magazine and the weekly email, so it's awesome to be able to take part, talk to our members.
Now you get to be a part of the circus that you have promoted for us, which we appreciate. Thank you so much. Tom, you've been with us a long time, certainly longer than I have been around, which I like to say says a lot since I've been around this sphere of the association for quite some time now. But Tom, you've been with the Self-Storage Association for over 20 years. And I think you have a lot to share with us in terms of the magazine, dare I say the Globe, but now SSA magazine, where it's been, where it has come to today, and a little bit about some of the content. So let us start with, how has the magazine evolved for you, Tom?
Actually, so I started writing for the magazine in 2005. Our CEO, Tim Dietz, and I used to work in the newspaper industry together. We kind of went different ways where I got into magazines and he got into some other stuff. But he reached out and asked me if I wanted to write for it. And I did that for a while and then took over some of the advertising. And then I think I've been the editor, overseeing the magazine, the editorial for about the last 10 years or something like that. So it's, but we made the evolution of from Globe to SSA magazine was the March 2019 issue. And we just felt like it was better for the brand. We felt like the association Globe wasn't, it kind of served its purpose for a while, but SSA magazine just fit what the association needed. And Tim, kind of spearheaded that. My boss, Mike Blackett, who's our SVP of communications, and we rebranded the entire design in the magazine and everything. So it's all the same great content and articles and stuff, but it just kind of took on a name that was more fitting of the association. And I would suggest last year we did the 50th anniversary of the association, and every issue of the magazine we talked about like the first conferences, the first vendors that were involved, the first builders, software companies. There was operators that would take orders by pen and paper, and how software came in and made it easier for to bring tenants on board and stuff like that. And we have one issue of the magazine we talked about, or of the magazine where we talk about the evolution of the magazine and how when Tim first started with Mike Scanlon, it was a 16 or 24 page pamphlet or publication, and now we're up to well over 140 pages some issues. So it's amazing really much how much the magazine has grown over the years.
It really has, and I'm glad you brought up the 50th anniversary issues from last year, because each and every issue offered all of us something that we didn't know, and great photos of history and just great information overall from some of our founding members and some of the moments in history that were monumental, not only for the industry, but for the association. I would guess that you could have done several more months. Was it hard picking those moments for those 12 issues?
Yeah, it really was a labor of love because, like you said, we were able to talk to a lot of the pioneers like Buzz Victor and a lot of the people that started the association at the beginning. When they had to use the yellow pages to track people down, and trying to track down a lot of those legends and those pioneers from 50 years ago was easier said than done. But we were talking to the first builders. I mean, the first everything. The people that kind of paved the way for the people now. And the thing I love about the Self-Storage Association, it honors that legacy, it respects that legacy. And people in our association understand that they're just a stepping stone and they pass the baton. And I think the people that are the members now understand that they're part of something bigger than themselves and that there's strength in numbers. And I think when they kind of move on, they'll pass the baton. We talk about the Young Leaders Group. It's just not a bunch of people just coming in to make a quick buck. They're vested in the industry. They come to events. They sit on panels. So I think bringing in some of this new blood and honoring those people at the same time kind of gives us a great mix of not just looking back 50 years, but what's the industry going to look like 50 years from now? I mean, we won't be around, but our kids might be running the association someday.
Hey, you never know, right? No, but you are 100% correct that there is so much history to be learned from and honored from those who have founded the industry and been around for years and years. And it's a great source of knowledge for those coming in to our industry and that will be paving the way, because no, unfortunately, we won't be here for 50 years. But Tom, something tells me the group that we work with here at the SSA would be if we all could be, but we know that's just scientifically not possible, unfortunately. Speaking about our staff, that is the one unique thing when I look at other industry magazines out there, because there are others who will remain unnamed, but our staff participates in the magazine, which is really cool. We use our expertise from the departments that we serve to help provide content and information to our members, and as well as professional writers, if I'm not mistaken. There aren't random vendors writing articles, and our article space isn't for sale.
Correct. And, I think, first of all, we do use professional writers. I've got 5 writers that we lean on every month. And it's not just for the magazine. I should point out that, we do a quarterly state newsletter that we use those writers for. The Florida Self-Storage Association has a quarterly magazine. Laura Williams Tracy, one of our best business writer, without question, and probably the best in the industry. She writes for the Florida magazine every quarter. Some of them have been around longer than I have. John Dunlap, Mark Wright. We brought on Steve Cahill, who's been around for in the newspaper industry and has been picking up on storage. And also Laura Fries, who's worked for like Hollywood Reporter and Variety. So she's great at features that we do. But I think that gives us credibility because we write everything from the perspective of our members and how it's going to benefit them. We have staff members, you yourself, Stephanie, Joe Doherty, Daniel Bryant, Julia Bankard, who's our membership director. You hear from these people every month in the magazine. Tim Dietz, our CEO, writes for the magazine. So you don't just see them in the magazine. You don't just see them at the trade shows. You don't just see them, on webinars. We make them available all the time because that's what we're here for. Also, we do not allow vendors to write for the magazine, which you pointed out, which is really, really separates us from the other magazines. If you see a full page, if you see an article on a certain topic, you're not going to see a full page ad about that same company or something. We don't do articles on specific companies. We allow our board to write for them. I shouldn't say allow. We are at the, we're very, very fortunate that our board members, Tracy Sells has written for the magazine this year, Brian Cohen, Pedro Florida wrote for the magazine. Chuck Gordon, Sean Hill has a column coming up. And when they write a column, it's about best practices. It's about how can we all help the industry. Sean gives great expertise because he's been on the vendor committee. So it's not about promoting their companies. It's about promoting the association and making sure, rising tides lifts all boats, everybody together. I think, and that's what I love about the magazine. Everything we do is for the members. We're not for sale. We don't write, we're not going to do an individual article on a specific company. If we did an article on third-party management, I think we featured 12 different companies. Some were advertisers, some weren't, but they're big, small, and we just found a good mix so our operators could read that and find out what's best fit for them, and we let them make that decision.
Well,
So
I don't
I
think
think that's
there's
what really separates us. Yeah.
I would agree, Tom, and my hat's off and compliments to you and your team, because I don't think everyone maybe realizes just how much work goes into every issue, from the thought and the planning that comes from you, your team, and your writers, and then to the review and care from our staff. Proofs go out. Staff members are looking at everything in the magazine, everything from the content to, hey, Tom, why'd you put that ad there? I mean, it almost makes your job harder, but I know we appreciate probably, being able to be a part of your process, and it all gives us a little bit of ownership in the magazine. Now, I say this knowing that of all of our staff members, I'm the absolute last one to turn in my homework when it comes to you, Tom, but I know in general, you're grateful for everybody's support and help.
No, we are. And I think that's what if you talk to our members, I've worked on the consumer magazine side and the trade magazine side. And what makes our magazine different than, say, a consumer magazine is our members don't pay for a membership. It's part, or a subscription. It's part of their membership. And so They get it every month. They go through it. They pass it around. It sits on the the office counter for the entire month. Um, so I think what we do is geared towards everything in that magazine is how can we make their jobs better and how can we make them more successful. And I think that's where the members are really trying to find the value. And we have a digital edition too for people that don't want to read the print edition or whatever. So we make it available in both formats. But that does it's what really separates us from being, a consumer magazine. And we've gone up in advertising 7 straight years, which is
Yeah.
just unfound. I mean, it's unheard of for a print magazine. And we owe it all to our vendors. Our vendors, they appreciate the magazine, they respect the magazine, and they know that they're getting a loyal readership of people that want to use their services. So
I agree.
that's what's continued to make it go on and on.
It's certainly one of my favorite magazines, but I may be partial. Talking about what makes our magazine so unique and special are the special issues that we offer. One of my favorite special issues is our August issue, Tom, the legislative issue. Tell me why that issue, our August issue, is so important. And gosh, listeners, if you don't read any of our magazines, you should be reading that August issue. Tom, tell us why.
Well, it's interesting because August is probably one of my favorite issues, and it's one of the few issues that's separate than builders want to be in the April construction issue, software companies want to be in the July or the third party management issue. We have insurance companies. August is specifically dedicated to just legislation, and if we were financially motivated, then this issue would probably get thrown out the door right away. But the fact that our whole mission is to let our members know what's going on legislatively and what affects them is what makes it such a special issue. And I think what we're talking about in this August issue coming up that our members do not want to miss, a lot of what our legislative team, Joe Doherty, Daniel Bryant, the lobbyists we have all over the country, have to deal with is dispelling myths. And there was a Maryland operator, a woman who tried to lump self-storage in with firearm companies, alcohol, liquors, e-cigarettes. And it's such a misconception. There's operators around the country that think, oh, storage attracts crime. That's not true. I mean, state-of-the-art security everywhere. Or that it's a lot of traffic. It generates too much traffic. People go to their storage unit a couple times a year. It's completely 100% false. So there's enough legislation that our team has to deal with. And then they have this on top of it where they have to dispel these myths. How about, it's going to be an eyesore in our community. Storage facilities now are some of the most gorgeous buildings you've seen. The architecture, everything about them. They're not the one level with the fence out front. They're climate controlled. They're 4 or 5 stories, sometimes bigger. So there's just so much false information out there. But Joe and Daniel and the rest of the people they work with are so good about trying to get in front of that. So that's one of the big stories we're doing. Another one is AI and technology and how we're putting it on people's radar, because eventually it's going to show up for storage, or how AI is being used for everything. So we really want to make sure people stay on top of that. And then the one really cool story that I love is we found 3 legislators around the country that at one point owned storage facilities.
Oh, wow.
And so this is like a really unique opportunity for them to look at legislation through the eyes of their experience. And one thing I'll point out, the irony is, how many times has a storage lien bill been held up by a publisher of a newspaper because they don't want to risk the endorsement, or the legislator doesn't want to risk the endorsement of that newspaper, and so they vote to keep advertising in newspapers. So now we've got it flipped around where we've actually got operators that are in legislature, and I think they offer a really good perspective. So I think our readers are really going to enjoy that as well. So we look forward to this issue. Every year we try to come up with new topics and what's affecting people. And, we always tell people it's one of the greatest benefits that we do, because every dollar we bring in from advertising, every dollar we bring in from our trade shows and conferences goes towards education and legislation.
That's right.
it. There's other magazines, there's other conferences that goes right in their pocket. They're for-profit companies, and more power to them. But it's apples and oranges when people try to compare them to us, because everything we do goes right back into the industry and making it better and safe. for our members.
Everything we do goes back into this industry. Everything. You don't spend money at one of our conferences and feel like you don't know where your money's going. It's going right back into the industry to protect it, to defend it, and to help communicate all of those things with our members. So thank you for making that point, Tom. All right. Buddy, one final question that you might not have an answer to. This is sort of a fun question. Maybe if there is an answer to this, maybe you're not allowed to share, but I have to know. Were there other names for the SSA magazine when it was going from the Globe to the SSA magazine? Were there other ideas tossed around, or was it a unified SSA magazine as it?
Well, I think Tim initially proposed Deets Digest, which was overruled. And then Mike Blackett wanted to go with, Blackett's booklet, which we also turned down. We just figured SSA magazine. We kind of bailed and went with the easy, obvious choice. There.
All right. I'm surprised Derek didn't throw his name in there.
One appeal I would like to make, if we still have time,
sure,
is, people always ask how we come up with story ideas. And you'd be amazed how many times people will pitch us on stuff, or did you hear about this? I mean, a lot of times it's self-serving, and I get that more than I care to admit. But we're always on the lookout for good topics, good human interest stories, people thinking about stuff. We have a cover story on AI and self-storage hiring executives from outside the industry. Laura Williams Tracy did a great job on that. But storage is getting so big and so reputable now that companies can sit there and hire an AI executive from Silicon Valley or wherever they're located and bring him over to storage, because AI, love it or hate it, it's going to be part of the industry. Sure. Also, we've been around, you and I've been around, we've so many people in the association, we've gotten to know people over the years and we know their stories. And one I'd like to point out real quick was CJ Stratt, who was featured on the cover of our May issue.
Yes.
And I've known CJ for 20 years, and it was such a great human interest story. And she's been through so much with business, with her health, with her family situation at home. And I asked her, I said, do you mind if we tell your story? And she's never told it before. And anytime we can put a face on people in the industry and stuff like that, because everybody knew CJ, and right off the bat, it resonated. And I think that's what we want to do. I mean, storage isn't about buildings. It's not about space. It's about the people that put them together. And that's why we're here too.
It is. And storage is about the communities in which they serve. To your point, how hard our team works to help educate legislators and city council members. It isn't a bad industry. It is where someone goes when something happens, when they need assistance, when someone dies, when your house burns down, when your kid is deployed, when the Red Cross is collecting supplies, when a Toys for Tots group is collecting toys for the holidays. These people don't store these things in the trunk of their car. They come to self-storage. And I think on the other side, I don't know if anybody else on our staff, I come from self-storage. I've been a store manager, a district manager, and a whole host of other administrative roles in between those. And these managers create a relationship with the customers. This is a council-based approach when they're meeting our customers. Why are you here? What are you storing? Let's find the perfect unit for you that makes the most sense. Sounds like you're storing some things that are really important to you. I have items here in the store that will protect your items while they're in storage. We're a one-stop shop. Did you need a truck? Heard you had a refrigerator. I can rent you a truck too. We're going to take care of all of this. That is what the transaction is like in a self-storage facility now. It is not a man smoking a cigarette, barefoot, throwing a rental contract at you with a master lock padlock. There are fingerprints involved. There is, digital rental agreements. This is a very modern industry and one that is very helpful to the communities in which they serve. So like you, Tom.
Well, I tell you, Dale, we've done some great stories on the fires in California, the fires in Hawaii. There was a big one, I forget where it was, up in maybe Arizona. We've done hurricanes and how storage has stepped up. Storage has, waived, fees, or they've lowered their prices, anything to try to help the communities out, because these people all live in their communities. Yeah. And we love telling those stories. Those stories.
I was going to say that if to any of our members listening, if you guys have a great community story, we want to hear about it. No promises that it'll make the magazine, but you never know. We often do community-based stories, sometimes, summarizing things we've heard over the months or years. So again, anybody listening, if you have something about your facility that you would like to share, how you get involved in the community, how you help your community, please email info@selfstorage.org and let them know you wanted to share your story with What's Up SSA. Tom, I appreciate you bringing the fact of pointing out where our stories come from. We do want to hear from our members out there. We want to hear from vendors out there. You never know where that next good idea will come from.
Yeah, there was one. It's funny. We were in San Antonio for our spring conference, and I just duck in and out of concurrent sessions, roundtables, just listening. I ducked into a session with Joe and Daniel were sitting in the back, and Jeff Greenberger was up giving a whole presentation on lithium-ion batteries and how bad they are for storage. They can just explode. And I literally, while I'm sitting there, texted my writer, Mark Wright, and said, "You're writing this article for an upcoming issue." And I encourage people, go into our archives and look it up, because it's if you don't know about this, trust me, it's going to be a factor eventually, because a whole facility that we featured got burned down because of one battery exploded. It could be an e-bike, it could be e-cigarette, it could be a phone. And we tell you what can and can't be, stored, and how to to make sure people are signing the right paperwork to avoid
It was a very informative article, and just a FYI for anybody that is going to look it up and read it, you're going to start losing sleep, because now I'm thinking about those batteries on airplanes and other places, but that's not what podcast this is, so we won't get into those fears. But the lithium batteries are certainly a little bit scary, and it was a very informative and eye-opening article. Well, Tom, we've come to the end of our segment together. And as much as I enjoy spending time with you, I've got other staff members to talk to. We are going to be speaking with Mike Blackett a little bit later, so I'm really excited about that. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners for the good of the order before I let you go?
No, I think just we appreciate you looking at the magazine, reading the magazine, giving feedback. We appreciate all our vendors who support the magazine. I think they've come to appreciate that SSA magazine is one of the most, if not the most, respected in the industry. And I think it's just because we're here to serve, and that's our only motive, to serve and educate. So, but we're always open to story ideas. We get a lot of ideas from different sessions, roundtables. I go through, I comb them. We look at national news and how it might apply to storage. So, we're always trying to think outside the box, and we appreciate any input you guys have. So I appreciate having me on.
Well, thank you for spending time with me today, Tom. It has been a pleasure, and I will see you soon.
All right. Thank you, Erin.
This episode of What's Up SSA was hosted by Erin Lightfoot and produced by Sarah Kautzman. All content in this podcast is owned by the Self-Storage Association, the only U.S. not-for-profit organization serving as the official trade association of the self-storage industry. To access member and industry resources or to become a member, please visit selfstorage.org. I love the sound of a roll-up door in the morning.